Good afternoon, everyone. Is this thing on? Is it? Oh, I just got to be a little louder. That's something I've never really been accused of before, is needing to be louder. But good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen DeVay, and I'll be serving as the MC for the day. And I'd like to welcome you all to Penfield's 2026 swearing in. Taking the oath today will be Town Clerk Amy Steklof, Town Justice James Mulley, I don't know why I said Mulley, who are continuing their roles, along with two new town board members, John Getz and Bill Lang, and, of course, Penfield's new Town Supervisor, Kevin Berry. And while it's true that these folks will be taking an individual oath today is not just about them. It is about the entire Penfield community. Neighbors, volunteers, and voters have come together to shape this town's future. Each campaign, every conversation, and every vote is a part of that collective success. So, today isn't just about celebrating an individual or a leader. It's celebrating how Penfield's we made this possible. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated. Before we get to the speakers, I want to recognize some of the folks in the audience who I saw as I was looking around. From the New York Governor Kathy Hochul's office, Jacob Gilbert Mahoney has joined us today. From Senator Salma Brooks' office, Nikki Carroll, Director of Operations, has joined us today. From other towns in the area, Bill Maley has joined us as Town Supervisor from Brighton. From the Monroe County Legislature, we have Paul Dondorfer. Heard we have a former town board member with us. Linda Cole is in the audience. Linda. And of course, current town board member, Linda Teglash is here. Linda. And they will be speaking, so I'll do another introduction just so they know I didn't forget about them. We have Assemblymember Jen Lunsford here with us. And County Executive Adam Bello. At this time, I'd just like to invite up Penfield's Assemblymember Jen Lunsford for a few remarks. Jen.
What an exciting day. I'm so glad to be here and to be a part of this and to see so many of my longtime friends and neighbors. As many of you know, I bought my first house in Penfield, and we lived here for 8 years back behind the Bill Grays, over there off of Panorama. And I love this community. This community is one of friendliness and neighborliness, even though I think a lot of people think of Penfield as a place with an identity crisis, you know? It's, you've got farmland on one side and you're connected to the city sewer on the other. It's mayhem. And that's a lot to get your arms around. But I know that the team that we have elected that is going to bring this town into the future are ones that deeply understand both the roots of Penfield and what makes it a place people want to live, but also a place that can grow and thrive and have a sustainable future that makes it a place people want to keep coming to. I have had the great pleasure of knowing some of our new electeds for many years. I've gotten to work with Kevin as we've coordinated between the town and the state to bring you things you might need. Like maybe someone wants to ask me for a leaf pickup truck. If you ask me for a leaf pickup truck, I might get you one. and John Getz, who I have known since I was a little baby attorney. John, I was on the prisoner rights pro bono list, and I got assigned a case, and they don't just let children do that by themselves. They assign you a mentor, and John was my mentor in that case, and I learned so much from him as a lawyer and as a person, and he has been a friend for over a decade now, and I'm incredibly excited to see him here. Bill is new to me. I'm sure Bill's great. I hear good things. But I look forward to working closely with this entire new team and those who are returning to ensure that we bring Penfield into the 21st century, make it a place where people can come, people can go, because maybe the traffic isn't so bad. Maybe we can clean up 441 a little bit, and find ways to build our community stronger than it is today. I am honored again to be a part of today, and I hope so much that I'll be back next year to continue this, because God bless those of you that got to run again. 2 years in a row, murder. I couldn't do it. But thank you all so much for letting me be a part of this. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it back to Stephen. That's what I'm doing? Okay. Thank you so much. Congratulations to our new team, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Lunsford. In an effort to keep it going, I'm going to be really brief in between these and just immediately introduce our next speaker, the fantastic, good friend of mine, County Executive Adam Bello. Adam.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations on a wonderful election year. Today is about government. It's not about politics, but we also do need to acknowledge how we all got here today. So congratulations, Stephen, and thank you for hosting all of us here at today's ceremony. Assemblymember Lunsford, it is always wonderful to be with you every day. I didn't realize that I could just sit next to you at events and just ask you for things and just ask you for trucks. And you will just do so. So, Kevin, if you don't want that truck, I have a few things that I'd like to ask for as well. But it really is a great honor and a privilege to be here with all of you today. I really love swearing-in ceremonies. And I think they're just important. It's important to watch our public officials take that oath in public, in front of the community that they're charged with serving. Because swearing in and that oath is really about a transition of trust. And it's an acknowledgement by our leaders that they understand the weight of the responsibility that they're undertaking. It's a moment where hopes and priorities of our neighbors are placed in the hands of those who are standing before you. So I want to start by congratulating all of our elected officials who are being sworn in today. Winning an election, it's a grueling test of endurance, but it's a true accomplishment isn't actually the victory that you had on election night. It starts with your decision to step forward and serve. Because we live in a world, my friends, where it's often easy to critique from the sidelines, and you see that a lot. People critique from the side, they complain on Twitter, they make their TikTok videos. But what our elected officials did, I've never made a TikTok video, though, just for that. But what our leaders did today is instead of complaining, they chose to get into the arena. And that's something that's very special. As Linda would tell you, your former town board member here, Linda, who's Rotarian, as is Supervisor Bill Maley here. The old Rotarian motto, service above self. What could be more emblematic of service among self than putting yourself forward to serve your community, to dedicate your time, your intellect, your energy to the stewardship of the community where you live. And you all do this because you want, and your elected officials want, what we all want, is for the next generation of residents. You all want the next generation of Penfield residents to grow up, find opportunity, and to love this town as much as you do, and to find that success and raise their kids and their grandkids here in the town of Penfield. So, Kevin, I want to start by congratulating you on your new role as you prepare to lead this great town. Now, Kevin, I was once sitting in your shoes. I was elected as a town supervisor in the town of Irondequoit. We did have a political transition that year from the Republican to a Democratic administration. And so I understood what it meant to transition a government and to build your team. And building that team is critical. And part of that team is Kevin's acknowledgement in building it, that he's not going to lead alone. We have 2 new town board members who are being sworn in today. And I'll fill in part of your gap there, Assembly Member, because Bill Lang actually serves my hometown as well. Bill, where are you? I didn't even have a chance to say hello. Bill's the Director of Community Development for the town of Irondequoit, and so I can speak with firsthand knowledge how wonderful Bill is, how dedicated he is at his job in building communities. But I want to congratulate Bill and John and the team, and because you guys really are the pillars of this administration. Now, as I said a minute ago, I sat in Kevin's chair. I've had the privilege of serving as a town supervisor, and I truly loved that job because it's the closest level of government to the people. You feel and see the impact of every decision you make. It's the level of government that plows your streets. It keeps your parks clean. It supports our residents from young to old alike. It protects your neighborhoods, and it shapes the character of the place that you call home. And because I've done the job, I know what makes for an exceptional leader. And I'm telling you right now that Kevin, John, Bill, the entire town board, these are exceptional leaders, and they are ready for the task. The task in front of them is not going to be easy, but one of the things, as I acknowledged before a political transition, it's also important to acknowledge that that task that they're about to undertake isn't red or blue. These are the essential threads that hold our community together. So my charge today is this. It's to prioritize cooperation over conflict, to prioritize unity over division, and to make sure that you govern with a strict adherence to always doing the right thing, the right way, and for the right reason. And if you can govern and stick to that philosophy and that motto, there is nothing that you can't accomplish. Because when our world seems divided, and sometimes our communities can be divided, I think Penfield can be an example of how people with different perspectives can sit at the same table and they can move a community forward through civil, thoughtful collaboration. So before I hand it back over to take your oaths, I also want to address a few other people in this room, and that's their family and friends. Because public service is a family commitment. It involves your spouses, your children, parents. And to you, I want to say thank you, because you are the ones who will handle the late night phone calls, the missed dinners, and the stresses that come with public life. You are the silent partners in every policy passed and in every problem that is solved. Your support is the foundation upon which their service is built, and the town of Penfield owes our families who are here today a debt of gratitude as well. So as all our newly elected officials step into these roles, remember that you are now the guardians of this town's character. Your campaigns are over, the work begins, and we are all rooting for your success, because when you succeed, Penfield succeeds. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you to County Executive Adam Bello. So there's only like 7 more speeches, and we'll get, I'm kidding, we're going straight to the oaths. We're going to go straight to the oaths now. So for that, and actually just directly before I do the oaths and invite up Judge Frank Geraci Jr. to do those, I do see another judge that I want to recognize for joining, which is Judge Michael Insulti. Mike? All right, we will now begin the administering of the oath. So, he is. So, all right, that's a good call out because that's the opposite of what was on my script here. So, all right, Judge Mulley, you can join us up and do the oath.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat it to me. I, Amy Steklof,
I, Amy Steklof,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Penfield Town Clerk
the office of Penfield Town Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's very exciting that so many people are here today, and it just shows, and it's a testament to what town government can really be. So thank you to everyone for being here this evening for the swearing-in ceremony. Thank you, Judge Mulley, for swearing me in today, and congratulations, Jim, on your reelection to Town Justice. Congratulations to Kevin Barry for being elected as Town Supervisor, and to John Getz and Bill Lang for being elected to the Town Board. I also want to congratulate Catherine Dean. I don't know if Catherine's here today, but there she is. I'm doing this in advance because she will be appointed to the Penfield Town Board this coming Wednesday at our organizational meeting. I look forward to working with all of you, along with Town Board member Linda Teglash and Town Justice Paula Metzler. My husband Kevin and daughter Jessica are here this evening, as you saw up here. Thank you, Kevin and Jessica, for your constant support and love, and to Jessica's boyfriend, Marcus, who is also here this evening, and for your support as well. My sons, Michael and Jason, who do not live here, they live out of town, and my 92-year-old mother could not attend this evening, but are looking forward to watching the ceremony on the town's state-of-the-art website. I'm sure everyone would agree with me that our families give us purpose and inspiration as we go through life's journey. And thank you to our Penfield community for once again supporting me and placing their trust in me to continue as town clerk of this wonderful, wonderful town. I pledge to you that I will continue to work hard as I can give the very best customer service possible. My father, Dick Rosenbaum, always told me how important it is to give back to the community whenever possible. And being sworn in today for my 5th term, it continues to be one of my greatest joys to serve our residents each and every day. The role of town clerk is vital in that it is the front line of transparency and access to local government. It is a place where residents can come to obtain various licenses and permits, request public records, and access important information. I promise to perform my duties with the highest level of dedication, integrity, and care. My office is a welcoming place for all residents. And thank you to my staff for their hard work and dedication to our office and our residents. I think Susan Scheid is here, and she has been a great part of our team. And I'm so glad that my whole team can work together very well for our residents. I look forward to working collaboratively with the town board, town staff, and our residents to ensure our government serves the best interests of our taxpayers and community. Serving this community continues to be one of my greatest honors. Thank you again for this incredible opportunity to serve.
Congratulations, Amy. Now, we will get to Judge James Mulley, with Frank Geraci administering the oath.
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here to swear in the new board members, supervisor, and Judge Mulley. I'm a recent resident of Penfield, just moved here in July after 40 years in the city. I've read about these individuals. They bring a wealth of experience to this community, and I give them a lot of credit, as Adam did, for individuals willing to serve as public servants. Now, John Getz is an attorney I've worked with over the years. He served in my court many years. He's an outstanding attorney who's handled some of the most sensitive cases in our community. While serving as a mediator, president of the Bar Association, also a director of the Innocence Project, a college professor, and a coach for soccer, he displays a sense of fairness and professionalism that defines him. I read an article that during COVID, John used to walk along the river and reprioritized his life in a sense, getting a better balance between work and life. And I think we all did that during the COVID time. And I'm sure he now has a much better balance between his work life and his family life. And he'll serve this community well. I've known Jim Mulley for a long time as well. He can stay. Jim Mulley is an attorney again in my court as an assistant public defender. As a town justice, he served at the Magistrates Association as a former member of the town board, a deputy supervisor, county executive for the appellate division. As a counsel to the county executive, he's really shown his commitment to public safety in this community. Several years ago, Jim and I traveled to Novgorod, Russia, and I think he's going to talk about that as well, as part of the Russian-American Rule of Law Consortium. And we were there to acquaint Russians with our system of justice. It went well for several years, then they cut out the program. It was a wonderful experience, and Jim contributed tremendously. But don't worry, Jim, what happened in Russia stays in Russia. Although I do not know very well Kevin Berry or Bill Lang, I'm impressed by what I read about their background. They, too, have committed to this community. They work diligently with the Arc of Wayne, helping those with disabilities work on their abilities. Bill Lang has demonstrated his commitment to the community through his work on the Penfield Ambulance, serving as a firefighter and a coach for Little League and football. My courtroom deputy recently had to retire because she was diagnosed with cancer. Thank God, through treatment, she's doing well and on the road to recovery. Just before Christmas, she sent me a beautiful picture of a sunrise that she took. And she said she took that picture and hangs it in her house because it reminds her that it's a new beginning every day. Today is a new beginning for the town of Penfield. As we begin this new year, let us learn from the words of Albert Einstein. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. I'd like to swear in Jim Mulley. By the way, Amy, since Jim wasn't sworn before, you're not really sworn in. I'm only kidding. It was a joke. Raise your right hand.
Yes, thank you.
I, James Mulley,
I, James Mulley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties
the duties
of the office
of the office
of Penfield Town
of
Justice
Penfield Town Justice
according to the best
According-
of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all. This is an occasion for thank yous. It's not easy to know where to begin and even more difficult to know where to end. But I'll start with Judge Frank Geraci. I'm grateful you were here tonight to administer the oath. As has been noted, Judge Geraci and I were in a Russian prison 20 years ago together. But that ended well. Judge Geraci is Senior Judge of the United States District Court for the Western District of New York. Before that, he served as the Rochester City Court Judge and Monroe County Court Judge. His reputation was for excellence at every stop. I want to recognize Penfield officials who are leaving office. Town Supervisor Jeff Leanhouse, Town Board members Bob Ockenden and Candace Lee. I had the privilege of serving on the Town Council in Penfield for 4 years before I became judge, and I understand the demands of those positions. Jeff, Bob, and Candace serve this community with energy, sound judgment, and integrity, and I'll be forever grateful for the attention they showed the Penfield Town Court to address issues such as budget, facility improvements, and security. I want to recognize the Penfield elected officials being sworn in tonight. Town Clerk Amy Steklof. The town is fortunate to have someone with your experience that will be serving again. I was honored to have sworn you in for another term tonight. Thank you, Amy. To Supervisor Kevin Berry, Town Board members John Getz and Bill Lang, I offer my sincere congratulations on your election. Supervisor Berry has served on the Town Board since 2024. His work on the Town Board, together with his impressive experience in the community, will serve him well as he begins his tenure as supervisor. I wish you nothing but the best. John Getz. I know John well. He's a respected attorney, past president of the Bar Association. We've worked on several projects over the years. John is a consensus builder and a problem solver. Now he will undertake the most important role of his career. He's going to be the town liaison to the Penfield Town Court. Kevin, you could not have selected a more capable person to work with the court. I look forward to working with John as we go forward. Bill Lang, I don't know Bill, but I'm familiar with his work. I'm impressed with his deep roots in our community, Penfield Ambulance, West Webster Fire Department, coaching Penfield Little League, and the Webster Junior Warriors football team. I have to tell you, if the Warriors need a wide receiver, my grandson, Joey Heiligman, can play. He's really fast and he has good hands, so keep that in mind. John and Bill will be joining Linda Teglash, who has served on the board since 2024. I wish you all the very best for the town. I vow to work with you toward our shared goal of making Penfield a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Next, Town Court. I've been involved in the court system for more than 40 years now. Serving as town justice for the last 16 years has been the most rewarding and fulfilling experience of my professional career. Town court is often referred to as a court closest to the people. We are in the trenches dealing with domestic violence, individuals struggling with addiction, intoxicated and distracted drivers, to name a few. There's been remarkable changes to the system recently. The centralized arraignment part has been successful by any measure. And I thank County Executive Bello for stepping forward and helping us get that project done. The centralized arraignment part was long overdue in Monroe, and with the county's assistance, we were able to make that transition. The way town and village courts handle vehicle and traffic matters, there's much room for improvement. We've begun a dialogue on how we can fix that or make it better. Continue to work with that as we go forward. I'm happy that John Getz will be working with me on that, and we'll find the best way to deal with vehicle and traffic matters in this town. Tenants facing eviction in town and village courts too often are unrepresented as they face losing their home. The town of Brighton, Arundecoit, and the city of Rochester have figured out a way to provide attorneys for tenants facing eviction. We're going to do that too. We're going to bring that to Penfield, and we'll be working on that over the next 4 years. Next, I do want to mention, I could not have a more talented person to work with than my co-judge, Paula Metzler. I'm lucky to have her as a colleague. Paula could not be here tonight because of a family commitment, but she asked me to send her best wishes to the new supervisor and the town board, and I do that. Okay. Finally, my family. My wife, Jean, daughters Ann and Kim, son-in-laws AJ and Brian, my grandsons Joey and Charlie, granddaughters Allison and Ella are here. My wife Jean keeps me grounded. We had to decide whether I was going to seek another 4-year term, and she used the same words she used to me 4 years ago. Well, you're not going to just sit home every day. So I ran. Jean is an extraordinary woman. She's devoted to her family and her work with those individuals and families struggling with Alzheimer's disease. Jean and I have been blessed with 2 daughters, Ann and Kim. They share the best qualities of their mother, and they know better than anyone that is the highest compliment I can offer. I'm so proud of both of them. Ann and AJ have blessed us with 2 grandsons, Jack and Joey, and a granddaughter, Allison. One of the best Christmas gifts I got this year was a book about the best playgrounds in the Rochester area. And 2 of those playgrounds were named in honor of my grandson, Jack. We lost Jack almost 10 years ago, and those playgrounds have become destination sites. And one is in Rothfuss Park in Penfield. I'm going to ask AJ and Ann to stand up. I want you to acknowledge them. They've made this a destination playground. It's an unbelievable strength that they demonstrated to make this happen. And after we built the first one was in Rothfuss Park in Penfield. Then we wanted to do another one in Webster. And we went to the county executive's office. And County Executive Bello, once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. County stepped forward, gave us a wonderful piece of property on the corner of Lake Road in order to build this second playground. And again, that's also in the list of the best playgrounds in the area. So County Executive, thank you. I appreciate your work with that. Brian and Kim are here. They're the proud parents of three. Last time I got sworn in 4 years ago, Brian and Kim were here. They were childless, but now we have 2 grandchildren. We got 3-year-old Ella. Is Ella here? Hi, Ella's here. And we have 1-year-old Charlie, who I believe has been banished. Okay. And Joey and Allie, I don't know if I introduced you, but you saw them come up here. Yeah, there he is. There's the wide receiver and his beautiful sister. Okay, thank you all. Our grandchildren have brought us so much joy. I know we're blessed to have you. I'm blessed to have them all in my life, and I thank you for all being here with me. My final thank you is to all of you here for allowing me the opportunity to recognize some very special people and listen to me for just a few minutes. Thank you all very much.
Congratulations, Judge. We're going to move right along to our next swearing in, which is of the town board. And we are going to start with our new town board member, John Getz. John, want to join us up here? And administering the oath again will be the Honorable Judge Geraci.
I, John Getz,
I, John Getz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
of the office
of the office
of council
of council
of the Town Board of Penfield
of the Town Board of Penfield
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Two things I have to do. First, warn you, giving a lawyer an open mic is a very dangerous thing. And second, I have to keep a tradition. Bear with me. Say, go Bills! First and foremost, thank you, Your Honor, for swearing me in, and thank you for everybody who's here today. As Justice Mulley just stated a moment ago, it is challenging to stand here and think about all of the people to thank. So I would just say thank you to everyone. Thank you to the folks who are out there with us during this time running for office. Thank you to our assembly members, our state senators, our county executive, everyone who's been there. And the reason I say it this way is because some theme that you've heard throughout this evening, and it's tough to go after some truly eloquent and great speakers, is the idea of team and the idea of community. And for those of you who don't know me, go Bills, I am a huge sports fan. And the reason I am is because of that team building. And I'll start by saying, with Kevin, Linda, and Bill, I firmly believe that there is a strong team to work with our community. That extends to our town justices, that extends to all of the people who really make this work, which is the town staff. Without those people, we couldn't do our job. It's that simple. So real quick, a quick round of applause for our town workers. from an individual perspective, it is just too hard to thank everybody who's sitting here. But again, with friends and family, family by blood, family by love, thank you. Thank you, Maya. So, sorry about that. Back to reality. With regards to the community, I can only make some promises that have already been said. I promise you this community means everything to me. I was a military brat. We raised 2 wonderful young women here in this community. My team captain, which is Julie, we've been married for more than a few years now, is truly somebody, just like Justice Mulley said, my anchor, my best teammate. And for that, I am ever so grateful. And I can only say that this privilege of being here today is something I will never forget. And I hope you remind me of that privilege and keep me grounded, just like my wife and the friends and family who are here tonight do. Danielle and Allison, I know you're watching. Couldn't be here because of other commitments, but my daughters, as Justice Mulley also said, I'm going to quit quoting the judge, but he did steal my lines. They have the best of their mother in them, and they know that Dad is around. But something that I would just end with is why it's such a privilege, is Penfield really is the people. We have such a wonderful, wonderful group of people in our community. I have learned that. I have learned that in the time that I have lived here. I have learned that in the time that I was walking around, knocking on doors. And more importantly, I've learned that as I've grown up here. After 27 years, I can only say I have been so blessed with what's happened in this community, and I hope to pay it forward with everybody here. And again, thank you very much. God bless. Go Bills.
Congratulations, John. Next up, we are going to invite up Bill Lang to administer or take the oath for the town council. And I have a feeling we're going to continue to see what we've seen so far, which is folks that are being elected in that are really, really here for the community. Whether it's your 5th term, Amy said earlier, or Judge, clearly the service that you've built into your family through the work that they've done, the sports in here. We're going to continue that effort with the swearing in of Bill Lang. So, Bill.
Raise your right hand. I, William Lang,
I, William Lang,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of New York.
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
duties
the duties
of the office
of the office
of the Town Board of Penfield
of the Town Board of Penfield
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. When I was growing up, about the time I was my son's age, my dad and I were out running errands, and he asked me what I wanted to do with my life when I grew up. I thought about it, and I said, a politician. He laughed, and then he immediately said, why would you ever want to do that? For those of you who don't know me, and it seems like the theme here is tonight that a few of you don't, I grew up in Penfield. I've lived here almost my entire life. I was a patriot and a chief. I graduated from Penfield High School. After high school, I attended St. John Fisher College, and I moved back into town after graduation. As it's been mentioned, my life's work has always been about serving the community, whether that be, bless you, through emergency services in the community to community planning. My goal's always been about doing the right thing for the right reason. For those that do know me, a few of you here I know do, my promise will be to continue my zero inbox policy. Messages will always go answered, phone calls will always be returned. And I promise to always give you an answer, even if that may not be what you want to hear. My goal is to keep this brief because I know everybody would like to get on with the rest of their day. I want to thank my wife, my son, for their support throughout the campaign and the rigors of running for office. My family, my friends who are here, Linda, Justine, the rest of the volunteers on the campaign team for getting us to this point, thank you. And thank you all for being here and all of the support that you've shown. God bless. Go Bills. Thank you all.
Congratulations, Bill. And finally, we will invite up the Penfield Town Supervisor, Kevin Barry, to take the oath. Administered again by the Honorable Judge Geraci.
Let's raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Kevin Barry,
I, Kevin Barry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
of the office of Supervisor of the Town of Penfield
of the office of Supervisor of the Town of Penfield
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you all for attending today. I especially want to thank Stephen DeVay for hosting. Stephen and I have been friends for many years, long before I decided to run for public office. I also want to thank County Executive Adam Bello and Assemblymember Jen Lunsford. Your support has been invaluable, and I look forward to working with both of you to do great things for Penfield. Lastly, I want to thank my family, my sons Anthony and Tyler, my granddaughters Grace, Gabby, and Lily, and my daughters-in-law Brooke and Sky. And I especially want to thank my granddaughter Lily for assisting in the ceremony. The Bible she held belonged to my great-grandmother. Lily holding that Bible symbolized 6 generations of my family. It also symbolized my reverence for the past and my optimism for and focus on the future. It may be late on a Friday afternoon and it may be dark outside, but it's a bright new day for Penfield. It's bright because we're moving forward with a renewed sense of optimism and purpose. We have already begun creating stronger collaboration between Penfield residents and their elected officials. There's much more to be done, and we are committed to doing it. As Town Supervisor, I will increase communication with residents and actively seek their input. I will strengthen communication between the supervisor and the town board. I will respect their legal authority to govern the town while having the authority to administer it on a day-to-day basis. I will work to foster strong relations with our business community, and I will work with residents, local businesses, and town staff to shape Penfield as a vibrant place to live, work, and recreate. Penfield is a wonderful town. We all know that. But every community should ask how it can do better. Penfield has long called itself the town of planned progress. That idea matters. Planned progress means growth with intention. It means thinking ahead, making smart choices, and ensuring that change works for the people who live here. To truly live up to that name, we must come together, residents and town government, to create a shared vision for Penfield's future. What will Penfield be known for? What will draw people here and give our residents places to gather, connect, and belong? What services should our town provide to meet the needs of families, seniors, and future generations? Most importantly, what is the vision that unites us as a community? A shared vision doesn't come from one person or one board. It comes from listening, from collaboration, and from a willingness to plan not just for today, but for tomorrow. It means protecting what we value, investing where it matters, and growing in ways that reflect who we are. Penfield's future will be shaped by purpose, by partnership, and by the people who call this town home. Working together, we will ensure that Penfield remains a place we are proud of today and a place future generations will be proud to call home. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kevin. I think it's really clear after today, you can see that Penfield is in some really, really great hands, some caring hands, and some hands who are really going to take Penfield to a bright future, to use Kevin's words. Well, that concludes today's ceremony. Thank you all for attending, and thank you for your continued support of the town of Penfield. The town board organizational meeting will be held on Wednesday, January 7th at 6:30 p.m., and there will be a short reception outside if you would all like to join us. Thank you for joining today, and have a good evening. And I guess go Bills.